heartbreaking tragedy. I mean, it's almost, it's just shocking watching. I watched the news this morning for quite a while. And hard to believe. You see things like that, and it's hard to fathom. And of course, they don't know the extent of damage, and so we have a lot of people over there, and I know a lot of players and a lot of people making contact and making sure families are all right. I saw today that there was one village, 9,500 people are missing. I don't know what later happened to that, but it's just,
have you spoken to the commissioner?
No, I have not. You know, interestingly, the commissioner and I are supposed to do a forum up at Yale University on March 24th. Planned for a long time, and I've really been looking forward to it, but we'll see now what happens. No, I haven't spoken.
Commissioner, on a different note, what was your reaction yesterday watching the NFL thing blow up like that?
Well, you know, it brought, you know, the 90s were painful for us. Really painful. Really painful. Painful for me, but painful for the sport. George Cohn was, you know, he had, you know, we went through the mediation process. I sort of replayed in my mind the last few days what happened in '94. You know, we had this horrendous work stoppage record. Excuse me. I often said the worst labor history, I think, known to anybody. Strikes in 72, 75, 76, 80, 81, 85, 90, and 95. And it was, but, you know, they've gone through some of that, and we're going to go through it now. It's, I guess you actually, Kenny, I think you have to actually do it. It's really painful it is. I'm sure people understand that. What a tough situation. And you know, people will find fault with both sides, the commissioner. When you have substantial differences,
I know you talk to those other commissioners throughout the year and keep in touch. At a time like this, do you lay back? Do you offer help, support?
Well, there isn't anything that we can do. I mean, I'm certain we'll have conversations in the near future.
You're still on the Packer board, right?
Huh?
You're still on the Packer board.
Well, I'm ex officio. You know, when you hit 70, they turn you out. But I am. But yes. But it's a sign of the times in sports, as it is in everything else.
You said last week there was going to be some collective bargaining in your sport coming up. Do you know when that's going to be out here?
No, they have a meeting scheduled. I don't know the date. Rob Manfred will be coming out here, and he and Michael will meet. That'll be our second meeting. Had one in Florida that went very well. But we're early. It's very early.
I know you don't want to jinx anything, but it doesn't seem like there are any major issues hanging over your sport that would lead to an obvious assumption that there would be strife.
You're right, except I'm always a devotee of the Yogi Berra school. It ain't over till it's over, and so the only thing I've said, Drew, that I said last week and I'd say again, Ken, I've been thinking about this all week. When I think back to my early years in baseball and the public posturing that went on, it turned out it was a pretty accurate barometer of what really happened. Owners ripping owners, owners ripping the union fighting back, commissioners in the middle getting ripped. And I'm proud of that. We stopped all that too. So, and it helps. It helps to have a constructive atmosphere. And no, that's what we're going to try to continue to do.
But what's the status on Jeff Morad's sale? The sale of Morad's stake with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
What's the status on that?
Well, that's been completed.
It's over.
So that's been announced. I know, been completed. So fortunately, that's another issue I don't have to worry about.
Are you guys comfortable with Josh Burns still owning a chunk of the Diamondbacks?
Well, that's a situation that we need to have settled. That's a situation that does need to be settled, but I'm sure it will.
When you say it was announced, when was it announced?
I read it about a week and a half ago.
I think they said that it was in the process, but I don't think they said it was
Well,
completely announced.
it's
As far as you're concerned, it's done.
yeah, it's complete.
And it was just bought back as expected by the general partners there in Arizona.
David Sampson, with the opening of the new ballpark in Miami next year, I think he said he wants to talk to you about having the first game maybe on ESPN and on national TV. He'd like some national focus on the
Well,
opening of the ballpark.
let's get this year done, and then we'll worry about next year.
Well, isn't it something that you do?
Yeah,
fairly
sure.
far in
Sure.
advance?
Look, we want him to get as much publicity as possible, so the answer is yes.
Okay.
But he hasn't talked to me about it.
But you expected him to talk to you?
Well, I'm sure he will. If he said he would, I guess he will.
Seems like concussions are the injury of the year.
Yeah.
You're concerned there? You talking to your medical people about those? And
Oh, we talk about it all the time. Very concerned. But I think we've been very cautious. The Twins have been extremely cautious with Justin Morneau. You know, they needed him desperately in the playoffs and didn't use him because they weren't comfortable. But I saw he played the other day and that got a double second. Great player and a great hitter. And so I'm hopeful that he's right. But yes, well, we talk about it all the time. You bet. Concussion's a very significant injury.
I don't know how many spring training games you've seen, but you've seen a lot of problems with wood bats. That seems to have quieted down too.
Well, as of last year, we were down 40%. You know, we're using both Harvard and the University of Wisconsin, their forestry division. They've made a lot of interesting suggestions, and so when you're down 40%, that's good.
Joe was talking the other day about one of your big points now is the pace of the game, not so much the timing or the length
Well,
of the game.
it's been for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah, I know he was, but that's been for quite a while.
Right, and what new do you expect to have done?
Oh, I don't
with
know.
it?
I've talked to Joe a lot about it, and I've talked to all of our people about it. It isn't the time of the game as much as the pace. It's the one thing that I always worry about. But we talked about it on our special committee. We've talked about it a lot. I think there are things we can do, and we're going to do that.
Commissioner, when you read the Cabrera police report the other day, what was your reaction to that?
Well, you know, one is never happy when they read that, but I want to say to you, Ken, that I have to give the Tigers really credit, and our own doctors. Look, our own doctors were there. Our specialists were there in that area. They felt they handled it the right way, and I think they did. And the Tigers have been extremely cooperative. And so, hopefully all the help, they're going to give them a lot of help. There's going to be somebody with them most of the time. And so hopefully that'll